डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Namaskar dear students, I Dr. Himanshu Patel welcome you from the Chaitanya studio of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. We are in lecture series for the subject of Bachelor in Computer Application BCA 102, that is operating system. So I welcome you all for this session. In today's session we will start with, then there is a concept of time sharing evolve, where multiple jobs are executed by the CPU by switching between them. But the switches occur so frequently, thus user can receive an immediate response. Now you can see in the figure that there are many processes. 1 to 5 is executed by CPU for certain time period. But this switching between process or user is so fast that they feel that they have their own CPU, right? So this is how time sharing operating system works. For example, in transaction processing, processor execute each user program in short burst or quantum of computation, right? So CPU time is divided into many users or programs. That is why it is known as a time sharing operating system. If n users are present, each user can get time quantum. So that quantum is of order milliseconds or microseconds depending on the CPU speeds and number of users. And operating system uses CPU scheduling and multi-programming to provide each user with a small portion of a time. Now how it is possible? Just dividing the CPU time does not work, but there are certain CPU scheduling algorithms are there which is responsible for scheduling job that are currently available in main memory. So this is how time sharing operating system works. Now let us discuss advantages and disadvantages of time sharing operating system. So first we look at the advantages. So more than one user can execute their task simultaneously. Now this is the important advantage. Now suppose I need to just use keyboard and mouse to log into system, and all software are installed on the main computer where user can execute this program in a parallel manner. So it avoids duplication of software because software need to installed on main computer where this time sharing operating system runs. So this is the advantage. Then CPU idle time is reduced and better utilization of resources is possible. We can understand this. Then it provides advantage of quick response. The switching between process or user is so fast that they feel that they have their own CPU. So that is how it works. Then disadvantages. So question of securing the security and integrity of users and data and program. So when there are multiple users present, we have to keep their data and program separate. So this is then there comes the question of security and integrity of data and program. Then since multiple processes are managed simultaneously, so it requires an adequate management of main memory. So it results in problem of reliability. Now we have huge large main memory is available which should be divided among many users. So there is a problem of memory management technique comes into picture, like pagination and virtual memory. Now the next operating system is a real time operating system. Real-time system is defined as a data processing system in which the time interval required to process and respond to the input is so small that it controls the environment. The response time, uh, the time between input and output is very small. So, that is the characteristic of real-time operating system. Real-time processing is always online, whereas online system need not be real-time. Online means it should be available to give immediate response to some event or input, right? But it response is so fast, it is known as a real time. But every online system is not real time. In case of online transaction, you have to wait for few seconds, but in this case the response is very fast. The time taken by the system to respond to an input and display of required updated information is termed as a response time. So, in this method, response time is very less as compared to online processing. So, the major characteristic of real time operating system is a quick response. Now, let us take examples of real time operating system so that you can better understand its application. The first is a scientific experiment. In scientific experiment, we must get results immediately. Then there is a medical imaging system. Now, what are medical imaging system? You might heard of CT scan or sonography or radiography, where a doctor should be able to track the movement of heart using 3D sonography, right? So, it should represent the actual movement of heart. So, it is known as a real time. Then industrial control system. Now, there are so many continuous production plant are available in industry which runs 24/7, right? And there is a certain process involved. For example, it involves measurement of temperature, pressure, flow, etc. So, if it is not controlled in time, then entire process either wasted or it may result in some blast, or it may result in some accident. So, that industrial control system should be real time. Then there is a weapon system. Suppose some enemy aircraft comes into our border, then it should be immediately destroyed through missile systems. So, as and when radar detects unwanted entity in our area, it should be immediately destroyed by this weapon system or missile system, right? So, that immediate should be very fast, otherwise it may escape. So, then robots and home appliances controllers. So, these should also be provide response in fast time, right? Then air traffic control system, etc. So, these are some of the system where we require immediate response based on certain event or input tracked or received by the system. So, these are the examples of real time systems. Now, then we can divide real time system into two parts. The first part is hard real time systems and another is soft real time system. Now, what is the difference between two is the response time. Hard real time systems does not allow response time between certain deadline, right? But in case of soft real time system, we can have priority of job. So, job with priority get executed first, even some important event occurs. it may be delayed for few seconds, right? So in case of soft real-time systems, it is not truly said real-time system, but it gives faster response time. Hence we have divided into two parts: hard real-time system where no delay in response is allowed, and in case of soft real-time system, if some priority job with priority occurs, then some output can be delayed. So these are the types of real-time systems. So in case of hard real-time system, it guarantees that critical tasks complete on time. So that is why it is known as a hard. In hard real-time system, secondary storage is limited or missing with data stored in ROM. We can say there is no secondary storage. Everything, program, data, everything is available on ROM or read-only memory, which is immediately fetched, faster than secondary storage. So in this system, virtual memory is almost never found, or there is no virtual memory. Now let us understand soft real-time system. So in case of soft real-time system, it is less restrictive, as I mentioned earlier. So critical real-time task gets priority over other tasks and retains the priority until it completes. Soft real-time system have limited utility than hard real-time system. Now example of soft real-time system is multimedia, virtual reality, advanced scientific projects like undersea exploration, etc. So these are considered as a soft real-time system. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages of real-time system? First of all, the advantage is that better task scheduling as compared to manual process, and time deadline achievement is guaranteed in most of the cases. The objective of real-time system is different than normal operating system. The response should be fast. It accelerates the process by auto-managing the system resource, as in the case of autopilot airplanes and railway ticket booking system. So there is no user intervention. System decides on its own that what to do. So it is generally automated system. And what are the disadvantages? So if time deadline are missed, it may result in severe disaster situation. As we discussed earlier, that if pressure, temperature or flow is not controlled, it may result in disaster, or if we are unable to destroy enemy's plane, then it may result in security threats. So these are, if deadline is not met, then it results in some disaster. It is complex and need additional kernel, memory and other resources are also required. Because of these special requirements, it requires some specialized hardware also. So it is more vulnerable to security breaches like virus and unauthorized access because of its automated nature. Now in last, we have two operating system called network operating system and distributed operating system. So on screen you can see the picture of network operating system. So here operating system manages many components like application, disk drive, peripheral devices, etc., which are connected through some computer network. So it comprises of several computers that are interconnected to one another through computer network. Each of these network device has their own local user and executes their own local operating system, not basically different from single computer operating system. So individual computer which are connected to network have their own operating system, but these network operating system provides facility for sharing resources among all these computers. For example, if I installed network printer, I am able to take printout from any of the computer which is attached to this network. So user know about the presence of several computers. User know that there are certain computers available that I can use if required. And additional features needed by network operating system are network interface controller or Ethernet card. We can say it is Ethernet card. A low level software to drive it and software for remote login and remote file access. So user can log in into different system using network operating system and access their file system and other resources, right? So this is the advantage of network operating system. Now then comes in last we have distributed processing systems. So distributed system is a collection of physically separate, possibly heterogeneous computer system that are networked to provide the user with access to various resources that the system maintains. So heterogeneous means one computer has a Linux operating system, another has a Windows operating system, another has a some other operating system. Even architecture or hardware of computer is also different, but they can work together. So why they work together? Access to a shared resources to increase computation speed, functionality, data availability and reliability. So one user can execute its program on multiple CPUs if the CPU is idle. So I have to just submit my program and it runs on multiple CPUs which are distributed on this computer network, and I have impression that it is running on my local machine, right? So that is the advantage. So some operating system generalize network access while other make use specifically invoke network functions. Generally, system contains mix of two modes, for example, file transfer protocol and network file system. So in case of distributed operating system, we have to use file transfer protocol as well as network file system also. So this is a architecture of distributed operating system. On screen you can see that there are workstation, terminal, file server, database server, computer node and workstation. So different type of components are connected via communication network and they can share their resources in a transparent manner. That means user have impression that it has its own local resource. So we can say it runs on a multi-computer system, which is set of computers each having its own memory storage device and other input output modules. This is useful for distributing the task between these different computers. Suppose other computers are idle, then I can use its processing power to get my job done. Existence of multiple computers is transparent to users. It appears as a uniprocessor system. Even though every computer is different from other, they collectively work as a single resource. It differs in a critical way from uniprocessor operating system. And you can on screen you can see the examples of distributed operating system, which includes Locus, Micros, IRIX, Solaris, Mac operating system and OSF1. So these are the examples of distributed operating system. Now what are the advantage and disadvantage of these distributed computing environment? First of all, advantage: with resource sharing facility, user at one site may be able to use the resource available at another. So it is a work like uniprocessor system. Speed up the exchange of data with one another via electronic mail. They can exchange their data. If one site is fails in a distributed system, the remaining site can potentially continue operating. Even though one computer is not working, we can get our job done on other computers. So site is a computer. Better service to customer because of this distributed nature. Reduction of the load on host computer, since computation is divided in many computers, there is a reduced of load on host computer. Then reduction of delay in data processing, because availability of multiple computers, execution is faster. Now what are the disadvantages? First of all, there is a security problem due to sharing. The data should be kept secure. Another disadvantage is some messages can be lost in the network system, so they need to retransmit, and there is a problem of bandwidth and overloading. Now if there is a database connected on local system and many users accessing that database through remote or distributed way, then performance becomes slow. Obviously, because of this network traffic, the communication may be delayed. So access to database server from remote is always slower than access from local machine. So this is the disadvantage, and the database in network operating system is difficult to administrator than single user system. Because this database is even accessed by multiple users, it is very difficult to administrator that database server. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of distributed operating system. Now we have learned the definition of operating system and how this modern operating system evolves starting from plug board, right? Now we can divide operating system into many general categories, right? So what are those categories? On screen you can see we have desktop system, so which is also known as a personal computer. So operating system which are installed on your personal computer or desktop system. Then we have multiprocessor system where there are multiple processor are available. You might heard dual core, quad core, 8 core. So these are the multiple processors available on a single system. Then we have discussed distributed system, we have cluster system, we have also discussed real-time system, and nowadays we have mobile operating system also, which is generally stored in handheld device or mobile or PDA, which is called personal digital assistant. So these are the general category of operating system. So in this lecture we have learned about definition of operating system, evaluation of operating system functionalities, activities performed by the modern operating system. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्यायः परः